Okay, so now, you know, I will just say that the people have been speculating and saying, well, why didn't Beyonce get in the middle? In my mind, Beyonce didn't get in the middle because Solange was probably attacking him over something that he knows he was dead wrong about, and therefore, sister didn't get in the middle. Did you know while you went through several incarnations, Farrah and the other girls, you know, being in the group, did you know that you would always want your daughter to be the breakout star?
No, not really.
Lie to tell.
No.
Can I tell you something? Yes. This is my opinion, and we can fight all day. I don't care. Beyonce is the greatest performer of all time, living or dead. Yep. I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce are master manipulators of the media. What is that? Is that a baby bump? I don't know. What the couple found most difficult to deal with, says another source, was the fact that some of the rumors were being perpetuated by people they considered friends, like talk show host Wendy Williams. Well, first of all, I've never partied with them. I've never been to their house. I don't swim in their pool. Like, we're not friends. The stunt left Beyonce angered beyond belief. And it's being alleged that then Solange said, well, why do you have to go to another party without your wife? Why can't you just go home? If you know what she was implying.
What if one of the biggest secrets in entertainment has been hiding in plain sight this entire time? For years, rumors have circulated that Solange Knowles isn't actually Beyonce's younger sister, but her daughter. And now old claims involving Wendy Williams, Richard Lawson, leaked records, and family insiders are putting the spotlight back on a theory many thought had disappeared. So, is this just another wild internet rumor, or is there more to the story than people realize? Let's get into this messy tea.
It really, really was such a pivotal moment.
First of all, Beyonce, the most disturbing thing is I can see the differentiation between your natural hair and your ponytail. You know, as a hair girl, you know, full wig, you know the difference. Right about here is where the wig starts. Right about here.
Somebody said, nah, she is older than she says. Google is wrong. They do that because old people don't sell albums in that genre. I don't know about that, man. I think she legit 41, like they say, 41, 42. Somebody said, Silk the Shocker boinked her too. This guy must be from the UK.
Now hold on a second, because this rumor is one of the wildest ones to ever come out of the Knowles family. What if Solange isn't actually Beyonce's younger sister? What if she's her daughter? Now, before anyone starts clutching their pearls, this theory has been floating around for years. But according to some people, the reason it's making headlines again is because the information may have allegedly come from someone very close to Mama Tina herself. And that's where Wendy Williams enters the chat. If there's one thing Wendy has always been known for, it's keeping track of celebrity tea long before the rest of the public catches on. And according to rumors, Tina Knowles' ex-husband, Richard Lawson, may have ended up sitting on a whole lot of family secrets after spending years around the Knowles family. Some people even believe he's quietly backing claims that Solange and Beyonce's relationship isn't exactly what the public has always been told.
Just lessons I instilled in them to work. You got to work hard if you want good results. You know, there are no shortcuts, but to treat people the way you want to be treated. And so I'm most proud of the fact that my girls, including Kelly Rowland, who came to live with us when she was like 11.
Yes, you raised her. Yeah.
Are all just wonderful human beings.
They are.
First, you know?
Teaching work ethic, you said you taught them they had to work hard. They love what they were doing, because I think a lot of parents try to preach work hard, but some kids just don't. So was it because they were so madly in love with what they were doing?
They loved music.
Yeah.
That's all they lived for, is they did shows. I mean, I always say nobody wanted to come to my house because they would sell tickets and
to come in and
do
listen.
all these shows, and that's what they wanted to do every day. So I think it's important not to push them in any direction or to force them to do anything, but when they love something, then encourage it, find every opportunity for them to do that.
The thing that makes people raise an eyebrow is how serious Tina reportedly was about keeping family matters private after the divorce. Remember, Tina and Richard weren't just a random couple who met later in life. They had been friends for over 3 decades before they started dating in 2013. You would think that kind of history would come with a certain level of trust. But Apparently not. Their divorce settlement reportedly included a strict non-disparagement clause and NDA that prevented Richard from speaking publicly about the Knowles family. Honestly, whenever people see rules that strict, they immediately start asking the same question: what exactly needed to stay hidden? And that's where the rumors about Beyonce's age start creeping back into the conversation. Officially, Beyonce has always said she was born in 1981, but years ago, an alleged leak surfaced claiming to show birth records listing her birth year as 1974 instead. The claim spread like wildfire because if it were true, it would mean 7 entire years have been shaved off her age. The Texas Health Department later stated that the document was fake, but by then the rumor had already taken on a life of its own.
Somebody said, nah, she is older than she says. Google is wrong. They do that because old people don't sell albums in that genre. I don't know about that, man. I think she legit 41, like they say, 41, 42. Somebody said, Silk the Shocker boinked her too. This guy must be from the UK. Somebody saying everyone knew. I don't know nothing. I'm just figuring out it as much as other people today. Somebody said that ish was a lie back then too. Oh, okay. He said everybody knew it was a lie. Somebody's mother, MFS, act like Beyonce and a female that can't get touched. Shaking my head. She's flesh and blood. Yeah, I heard rumors about that for years, man, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
And here's why some people refuse to let that story go. Over the years, a few details have popped up that, according to supporters of the theory, seem a little difficult to explain. One example involves a story Mama Tina once shared about taking Beyonce to Michael Jackson's Triumph Tour in 1981. According to Tina, that concert was a major turning point because it was the moment Beyonce supposedly fell in love with performing and dreamed of becoming a star herself. Now, believers of the age gap theory point to that story as one of the several details they think doesn't quite line up with the official timeline. Whether that's enough proof for anyone is another question entirely, but one thing is certain. This rumor has managed to survive for decades, and people are still talking about it today.
Beyonce was 7 and her dance teacher put her in a talent show with bigger kids, like all the way up to high school. And I was like, that's not fair because she's only 7. And she went in and she was shy. And I mean, she got on that stage and commanded the stage. And my husband and I were like, who is that? You know, because the confidence came and the joy, I could see it. And so she felt so confident, she said, well, I just want to get my trophy. I'm hungry and I want to go home. And I'm like, you don't know if you won. Like, sit down and chill. But it was something that happened on that stage that I had never seen before. So I felt very confident. That's what she wanted to do, because she'd always say, you know, I want to be like Michael Jackson. I'm like, yeah, well, who doesn't? You know, whose kid doesn't? She showed a lot of confidence, and that was my main thing, is I saw the joy in it.
So, according to Tina, Beyonce was supposedly around 3 years old when she saw Michael Jackson up close, got overwhelmed, and started crying because she loved him so much. Tina said that moment stayed with Beyonce, and that she even told her that she wanted to be like Michael Jackson one day. Cute story, right? But for people who believe the age rumors, that timeline is exactly what makes them pause. And then there's Gabrielle Union's comments, and they've added even more fuel to the fire. Gabrielle, who was born in 1972, once described Beyonce as a longtime friend, and said they had been close since they were teenagers. She even talked about how they shared the same hairstylist, and how Beyonce was polite, nurturing, and easy to work with because they were already good friends. Now, on the surface, that sounds sweet, but once people started doing the math, things got messy. If Beyonce was really born in 1981, then she would have been around 9 years old when Gabrielle was already 18. And that's where people started asking the obvious question: how exactly would an 18-year-old be teenage besties with someone in the 4th grade? But if Beyonce was born in 1974, like the old rumor claims, then she and Gabrielle would only be about 2 years apart. And suddenly that friendship timeline makes way more sense to the people pushing this theory.
Hey Andy, my question is real. Since you're good friends with her, do you know who bit Beyonce, and was it Sanaa Lathan?
Good question. Who bit her? Do you know? Were you at that party?
I was not at that party. If I ever knew, I would not tell. The easiest way to get ostracized and uninvited is to talk out of school.
That's why some fans believe Gabrielle may have accidentally revealed more than she meant to. They think she may have known Beyonce from the early days before the public image became so tightly controlled. And because Beyonce's team has always been extremely protective of her brand, people believe any pre-fame footage or old records that could raise questions may have been scrubbed or buried over time. And let's be real, Beyonce's team has had photos removed before. People still remember those unflattering Super Bowl pictures that basically vanished from the internet after going viral. So now, conspiracy-minded fans believe the same kind of cleanup could have happened with older photos, videos, and details about Beyonce's age. That brings us back to the biggest rumor of all, the claim that Beyonce is older than the public was told and may have allegedly had Solange as a teenager. According to the theory, the family then created the sister story to protect Beyonce's image and keep her path to superstardom clean. Again, this is all alleged, but this rumor has been around for so long that people clearly are not letting it go anytime soon. But the rabbit hole goes even deeper. According to one of the biggest versions of this rumor, Solange's father isn't who most people think he is. Instead, some claim that the real father was allegedly Beyonce's first boyfriend, a man who reportedly believed he was going to marry her long before fame changed everything. And then things got even messier in 2011, when a former Columbia Records employee supposedly came forward with claims that sent conspiracy circles into a frenzy. According to this person, they heard plenty of industry gossip during their time at the label, but one story stood out above all the rest. They alleged that members of the original Destiny's Child lineup had their ages adjusted for marketing purposes, with Latavia supportedly being the only exception. The employee claimed that they had personally seen Beyonce's driver's license displayed on a manager's computer, and it listed a birth year of 1974 rather than the publicly known date. Now, whether that's true or not, it's impossible to verify. But supporters of that theory ran with it immediately. According to the same source, the alleged age difference between Beyonce and Solange is actually around 14 years, not the gap the public has always been told. And if that were true, then the entire sister narrative would have been created to cover up a teenage pregnancy. That's the claim anyway. To back up the story, the employee pointed people towards Beyonce's early days in Girls' Time, the group that eventually evolved into Destiny's Child. Back in 1993, Girls' Time appeared on Star Search and famously lost the competition. But this is where the conspiracy theorists say the timeline starts getting strange. One of the members, Nikki Taylor, was reportedly born in 1975. That would have made her around 18 years old during that period. And according to believers of the theory, it raises an interesting question. Why would an adult be performing in a group alongside girls who were supposedly only 11 or 12 years old? That's one of the details people continue pointing to whenever this rumor resurfaces. Some even claim that information about Nikki's age became harder to find over the years, which only fueled more online speculation. Whether that's a coincidence or something more, people are still debating it to this day. But wait, because there's one more piece that keeps getting brought up. The former employee also claimed that Beyonce's cousin, songwriter Angie Beyonce, allegedly let something slip during a Christmas party. According to the story, the conversation started after Beyonce supposedly made comments about her cousin's weight. In response, Angie allegedly joked that she had had childbearing hips, and then hinted that Beyonce had already experienced motherhood herself. And according to the rumor mill, the child being referenced was none other than Solange. Now, is any of this proven? Absolutely not. But between the alleged employee, the age gap theories, the old Star Search timeline, and the stories that continue circulating years later, it's easy to see why this rumor refuses to mellow down. Every time one piece gets debunked, another one seems to pop right back up. And according to supporters of this theory, that's exactly why the family wasn't nearly as shocked when Solange later experienced a teenage pregnancy of her own. The rumor claims that they had already dealt with a similar situation years earlier involving Beyonce, so to them it wasn't exactly unfamiliar territory. This theory also changes the way people look at Beyonce and Jay-Z's relationship. Critics of the official timeline argue that if Beyonce were actually older than the public was told, then the age gap between the two wouldn't have seemed quite as dramatic when they first got together. Whether that's true or not, it's one of the reasons this rumor continues to survive after all these years. Now let's be honest, adjusting ages in the entertainment industry isn't exactly unheard of.
How did two of the biggest names in music even meet?
a long time ago. Award shows, a lot of different performances.
You know how people, you see each other and you respect each other's music. It's always that conversation, we gotta do something.
Over the years, several celebrities have faced rumors about changing their ages to appear younger and more marketable. People often point to stories involving artists like Nelly and even Michael Jackson, who was reportedly encouraged early in his career to appear younger than he actually was. So when people hear claims about Beyonce's age being altered, they don't automatically dismiss the possibility. And honestly, nobody is denying Beyonce's talent. She's had the voice, the work ethic, the looks, and the star power to become a superstar regardless. But according to this theory, changing a birth year may have helped smooth over questions that could have complicated her rise to fame. The rumors don't stop there, though. For years, there have been stories circulating about Beyonce's personal life, relationships, and what was happening behind the scenes while her father, Matthew Knowles, was managing her career. Some critics believe Matthew was extremely skilled at controlling narratives and keeping certain stories out of the spotlight. But according to those same rumors, things allegedly became harder to manage once Beyonce became more independent and her career expanded beyond his control. One story that has been making the rounds involves comments made by people connected to Beyonce's former all-female band. According to the discussion, there were claims that Matthew originally wanted an all-female group around Beyonce because he was constantly trying to manage conflicts between her and other people. Then things got even messier when someone allegedly fired back with a shady remark suggesting that maybe Matthew didn't know his own daughter as well as he thought he did. The shade was reportedly flying all over the place. And now with all these old rumors resurfacing, people have started looking at Richard Lawson all over again. According to online speculation, once his marriage to Tina Knowles ended, Richard allegedly became far less interested in keeping family secrets buried. Whether that's true or not, many people believe he may be one of the reasons these stories keep finding their way back into the spotlight.
Did you know while you went through several incarnations, Farrah and the other girls, being in the group, did you know that you would always want your daughter to be the breakout star?
No, not really.
Lies you tell.
No.
Nope.
You got to remember that I actually came up with this strategy, that the last 3 albums of Destiny's Child, each one of the ladies had solo projects. Michelle has had 3 #1 albums, 3 consistent.
Bless her heart.
#1 albums.
Good for her.
And you can do no better than #1, right?
Yes. In the gospel genre.
In the gospel genre. That's her belief.
And Kelly and Beyonce are still very close.
They're extremely close. Kelly sold 4 or 5 million records outside of America because she's done quite well inside.
Now here's where things allegedly get really messy. According to insiders, the breakdown of Tina and Richard's marriage wasn't just about the relationship itself. Rumors claim that Richard often felt like he was treated as an outsider within the family, despite being married into one of the most famous families in entertainment. Some people have even alleged that his daughter Bianca wasn't treated particularly well either. And if those claims are true, it's not hard to see why resentment may have started building behind the scenes. Fast forward to the divorce, and suddenly the rumor mill went into overdrive. According to gossip that's been circulating online, Richard allegedly started sharing all kinds of family secrets. We're talking claims about Tina always wanting to be the center of attention, speculation about Solange and Jules' relationship, rumors that Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage is more business than romance, and of course the biggest rumor of all, questions about whether Solange is really Beyonce's sister. And believe it or not, Wendy Williams keeps getting pulled into this conversation too. Long before social media became the go-to place for celebrity gossip, Wendy was already building a reputation for knowing things that most people didn't. That's why some fans believe she's been sitting on this particular piece of tea for years. According to rumors, Wendy doesn't just know about the story, she has receipts, allegedly. The problem is that before she could ever publicly dive into the topic, she found herself dealing with legal and personal issues that kept her out of the spotlight. Because of that, many of her supporters believe there are still stories she's never fully told. Now, some people are convinced that once Wendy makes a full return, she may finally say everything she's been holding back. Their argument is simple. At this point, what does she have to lose? If she really knows something, they believe she's more likely than ever to put it all out there. As expected, the internet has had a field day with these rumors. Some commenters argue that when a celebrity is extremely private and carefully controls their image, it naturally makes people wonder if there's something that they're trying to keep hidden. Others say they actually hope the age rumors are true, because then it would change the narrative surrounding Beyonce's early relationship with Jay-Z.
Another addition if you think you're looking at a super cute, super fashionable couple. But really it's a 19-year-old Beyonce and a 31-year-old Jay-Z. But as the internet is so good at doing, they have sleuthed out the truth thanks to Jay-Z's own lips. They met when she was 16 and he was 28. I don't know about you, but at 28, I don't meet 16-year-olds and think, that's my future wife. But I guess I'm different than most of Hollywood. When will Jay see his day? My whole entire following is now gone. Please refollow my page. They can take away everything that I've ever built, but they can't take away my message. Mind your idols.
And then there are the people who swear that they've been hearing versions of this story for decades. In fact, some longtime fans claim this rumor's been floating around since the early 2000s. One commenter even alleged that Beyonce's father nearly exposed the age discrepancy during an MTV behind-the-scenes segment years ago, only for people around him to quickly shut the conversation down before he could say too much. So, what do you think? Is there any truth to the rumors that Beyonce is older than the public was told? Could Solange really be her daughter? Or is this one of those celebrity conspiracy theories that has simply taken on a life of its own? And if Wendy Williams really does have the receipts, do you think she'll ever reveal everything she knows? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy messy celebrity tea, shocking Hollywood rumors, and deep dives into the story everyone else is afraid to talk about, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We'll see you in the next tea spill.